Your organization may have plenty of AI ideas, pilots, prototypes, and executive pressure. But if nobody controls the flow, limits active work, tracks evidence, or forces handoff decisions, the portfolio is not managed. It is just busy. The difference between AI chaos and an AI operating model is not the number of ideas. It is whether the enterprise can manage flow, capacity, decisions, evidence, and handoff. An enterprise can look very active with AI and still have no real operating model. It may have an AI committee, it may have executive sponsorship, it may have a backlog of use cases, it may have multiple prototypes, it may have vendor meetings, internal demos, and department requests. On the surface, that looks like momentum. But activity is not the same as disciplined progress. A managed AI portfolio has flow. Ideas enter the system, some are normalized, some move into structured evaluation, some become prototypes, some prototypes advance to MVP, some MVPs are handed off to production development, some projects are held, shelved, downgraded, or killed. That movement should not be random. It should be governed by evidence, capacity, cadence, and ownership. This is where many enterprise AI programs break down. They are good at generating interest, but weak at managing the pipeline. Stage 1 discovery runs forever. Stage 2 debate becomes circular. Prototype becomes endless tinkering. MVP quietly becomes disguised production work. Rankings go stale. Weak projects survive because no one forces a decision. The result is not innovation, it is congestion. That congestion has real consequences. Developers get spread across too many experiments. DBAs and data teams become bottlenecks. Security gets pulled in late. Business subject matter experts are asked to validate too many things at once. Receiving product teams refuse handoff because the MVP is not mature enough. Executives see activity but not reliable throughput. A serious enterprise AI operating model needs operating controls. Cadence, time boxes, capacity limits, gate reviews, portfolio metrics, dashboards, maturity levels, handoff rules. The practical principle is simple. AI portfolios do not manage themselves. If the enterprise does not control flow, capacity, evidence, and ownership, the AI portfolio will be controlled by politics, enthusiasm, and bottlenecks. Cadence is not administrative decoration. In an AI operating model, cadence is one of the controls that keeps the system honest. Without time boxes, every stage starts to drift. Stage 1 discovery can become endless brainstorming. The organization keeps adding ideas but never normalizes them well enough for evaluation. Stage 2 can become circular debate. People score, rescore, discuss, and revisit the same projects without making hard choices. Prototype can become endless tinkering. The developer keeps testing tools, trying variations, and chasing edge cases without a forced decision about whether the project should advance, hold, shelve, or stop. MVP can become disguised production development. The team keeps adding features, fixing gaps, improving the workflow, and hardening pieces of the system without formally deciding whether the project has earned dedicated production ownership. That is not harmless. When stages drift, weak projects survive too long. Stronger projects wait behind them. Rankings become stale. The active portfolio no longer reflects current evidence. Teams lose confidence in the process because nobody knows when decisions are supposed to happen. The organization may think it is being thoughtful, but often it is simply avoiding stage gate decisions. This is especially dangerous in enterprise AI because uncertainty is high. The data may be messy. The tools may not behave as expected. Security requirements may change the design. Users may respond differently than expected. Costs may shift. A prototype may reveal that the original business case was wrong. If there is no cadence, those lessons do not reliably trigger action. A useful rule is this: every cycle should end in a decision. Not always an advancement decision. Sometimes the right answer is continue, sometimes hold, sometimes shelve, sometimes downgrade, sometimes kill, sometimes hand off. But the team should not drift from meeting to meeting with no decision rhythm. Cadence turns AI work from open-ended exploration into controlled learning. A good operating model should provide defaults. Not rigid laws, not bureaucracy for its own sake, but defaults strong enough that the organization is not inventing the process every time a project appears. For Stage 1 opportunity discovery, a useful default is a 2 to 4 week discovery cycle. During that cycle, the organization uses structured prompts, workshops, department input, workflow analysis, and pain point discovery to generate possible AI opportunities. Backlog normalization should happen weekly. That means duplicates are merged, vague ideas are clarified, records are cleaned up, and opportunities are marked as ready for Stage 2 or not ready yet. For Stage 2 scoring, ranking, and selection, use 1 week for scoring preparation. Then run a cross-functional ranking workshop every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on portfolio size. Executive selection review should usually happen monthly. Prototype should move faster. A strong default is a 2-week prototype sprint. The acceptable range might be 1 to 4 weeks, but 2 weeks forces useful focus. At the end of every prototype sprint, the team should demonstrate results, update assumptions, refresh cost and timeline estimates, update ranking inputs, and decide what happens next. The first sprint should clarify direction. After 2 sprints, there should be a forced gate review. After 3 sprints, escalation should occur. After 4 sprints, the default answer should be no more prototype work without explicit exception. MVP needs more time, but still needs boundaries. A good default is a 4-week MVP cycle with an acceptable range of 3 to 6 weeks. After 2 MVP cycles, there should be a formal handoff readiness review. After 3, escalation. After 4, the enterprise should stop pretending this is still normal MVP work unless an executive exception is documented. At the portfolio level, ranking should refresh monthly. A deeper strategic review should happen quarterly. The core cadence is simple: short learning cycles, forced decision points, monthly portfolio refresh, quarterly strategic adjustment. That rhythm keeps the operating model moving without letting weak projects quietly age in place. The fastest way to break an AI operating model is to ignore capacity. Every organization has more AI ideas than serious AI capacity. That is normal. The problem starts when leadership pretends every interesting idea can move forward at the same time. Ideas are cheap. Validation is expensive. A raw backlog can contain hundreds or thousands of possible AI opportunities. That is fine, but active work consumes scarce people. Developers have limited time. DBAs and data leads have limited time. Department subject matter experts have limited attention. Security, legal, and compliance reviewers have limited bandwidth. Infrastructure, DevOps, and QA teams have real support constraints. Receiving product teams can only absorb so many handoffs. When those constraints are ignored, the operating model becomes dishonest. The enterprise creates the illusion of momentum. 10 prototypes are open, but none are moving quickly. 3 MVPs are active, but department owners cannot properly validate them. Security reviews are delayed. Data access waits. Developers switch context all day. PMs track status instead of managing decisions. The handoff queue grows because production teams are already overloaded. Everyone is busy. Very little is actually flowing. That creates predictable damage. Weak projects survive because nobody has time to evaluate them properly. Strong projects wait because capacity is consumed by weaker ones. Executives lose trust because the portfolio looks active but produces few validated handoffs. Technical teams get blamed for slow progress, even though the real problem is too much work in progress. Capacity limits are not anti-innovation. They are how serious organizations protect innovation from overload. The practical rule is this: a full pipeline should force prioritization, not denial. If a better opportunity appears and the pipeline is full, the organization should review the weakest active project, continue it, rescope it, hold it, downgrade it, or shelve it. That is not failure. That is portfolio discipline. The capacity funnel gives the enterprise a simple way to understand scale. Not every opportunity is active. Not every active opportunity deserves a prototype. Not every prototype deserves an MVP. Not every MVP deserves production ownership. That narrowing is the point. A practical default looks like this. The opportunity universe may have no practical upper limit. The organization can hold hundreds or thousands of ideas if they are normalized, searchable, and not treated as equally active. The managed Stage 2 portfolio should usually contain about 50 to 100 active opportunities for a typical medium to large organization. That is enough to support real comparison, but not so many that scoring becomes fake. The active prototype pipeline should usually contain 3 to 5 projects total. For a newer operating model, 2 or 3 may be better. For a mature organization with dedicated innovation staffing, 5 may be reasonable. Active MVPs should usually be limited to 1 to 3. The handoff-ready queue should normally stay between 0 and 2. If more than 2 validated projects are waiting for receiving team ownership, the enterprise has a downstream absorption problem. That creates a compression pattern. 50 to 100 actively managed opportunities, 3 to 5 active prototypes, 1 to 3 active MVPs, 0 to 2 waiting for handoff. This ratio makes the model honest. It says the organization can think broadly but must act selectively. The most important hidden rule is role capacity. One serious active initiative per builder is usually the cleanest default. A developer or architect should not be expected to deeply validate multiple complex AI projects at the same time. A department SME should not be expected to meaningfully validate several MVPs at once. A DBA should not be treated as infinitely available because data work is invisible to leadership. The capacity funnel protects focus. It gives leadership a clear message. For every 50 ranked opportunities, only a handful should be active. That is not pessimism. That is execution realism. If the organization wants more throughput, it needs more real capacity, not more meetings. An organization can say it is doing AI while having no evidence that its AI operating model is working. It may count ideas, pilots, demos, or prototypes, but those numbers alone do not prove portfolio quality. The KPI system should measure the operating model itself. That means measuring whether the enterprise is generating a healthy opportunity pipeline, selecting strong candidates, reducing uncertainty efficiently, stopping weak projects early, and handing validated initiatives to production teams. A project can fail while the operating model is working well. If the model kills a weak project early, that may be a good outcome. So the metrics should not reward activity alone. They should reward intelligent selection, intelligent validation, and intelligent stopping. A useful KPI structure has several categories. Pipeline volume metrics answer how many opportunities were generated, normalized, moved to Stage 2, placed in prototype, placed in MVP, and handed off. Stage conversion metrics answer: what percentage of Stage 2 opportunities become prototypes? What percentage of prototypes become MVPs? What percentage of MVPs are accepted for production development? Flow metrics answer: how long do projects spend in prototype, MVP, and handoff? Which stages are clogged? Portfolio quality metrics answer: did the original rankings predict which projects would advance? Are top-ranked projects collapsing early? Are lower-ranked projects rising after new evidence? Governance metrics matter too. How many formal blockers occurred? How many executive overrides were used? Were overrides documented? Who owns residual risk? How many gate packets were incomplete? How many handoffs were delayed? Those are not vanity metrics. They reveal whether the process is honest. The smallest useful KPI set should include opportunities generated, opportunities normalized, active Stage 2 count, prototype count, MVP count, handoffs to production development, conversion rates, average days in prototype and MVP, shelve rate, ranking accuracy, executive overrides, handoff delay, and production graduation. The key takeaway is this: measure flow, quality, risk, and learning, not just activity. That is how the enterprise proves the operating model is improving. Maturity is not measured by whether an organization has AI activity. Almost every organization has AI activity now. Maturity is measured by whether the organization can repeatedly discover, prioritize, validate, govern, hand off, and improve AI initiatives with discipline. A practical maturity model has 5 levels. Level 1 is ad hoc. AI activity exists, but selection and validation are mostly chaotic. Ideas come from random conversations. Projects are chosen emotionally or politically. Architecture and governance show up late. Prototypes drift. Nobody can clearly explain why some projects moved forward and others disappeared. Level 2 is structured discovery. The organization can generate and organize AI opportunities more systematically. Prompt packs, worksheets, and backlog structures may exist, but prioritization is still immature. The enterprise can produce many ideas, but it cannot yet confidently choose the best ones. Level 3 is governed prioritization. The organization can score and rank opportunities with cross-functional discipline. The AI innovation team is active. Role-based scoring exposes disagreements. Management can explain why certain projects are top candidates. Level 4 is managed innovation pipeline. This is where the full front end starts to work. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3 are functioning. Prototype and MVP cycles are time-boxed. Projects are re-ranked after learning. Hold, shelve, downgrade, continue, and handoff decisions are explicit. Capacity is managed. Handoffs begin to work. Level 5 is institutionalized and self-improving. At this level, the operating model is documented, teachable, measurable, and transferable. The organization can run it without relying on one champion or one outside expert. Metrics improve the model over time. The mistake is pretending maturity jumps from level 1 to level 5. It does not. Most enterprises need a staged improvement path. The goal is not more AI theater. The goal is a durable enterprise capability. The strongest maturity principle is this: higher maturity does not mean more projects. It means better selection, cleaner validation, stronger governance, and more reliable handoff. That is what separates AI experimentation from AI operating discipline. If your AI portfolio has ideas, pilots, prototypes, and executive pressure, but no cadence, capacity rules, metrics, or maturity path, the first question is not, which model should we use? The better question is, can the enterprise actually manage the AI work it is creating? An enterprise AI operating model assessment should examine the operating controls around the portfolio. How does Stage 1 discovery work? Are opportunities normalized? How often is the backlog cleaned up? How does Stage 2 scoring happen? Are rankings refreshed? Is prototype time-boxed? Is MVP time-boxed? How many active prototypes can the organization support? How many active MVPs can business and technical teams realistically validate? How many projects are waiting for handoff? Are receiving teams available? Are gate decisions documented? Are executive overrides tracked? Are blockers visible? Are metrics reported? Does the organization know its maturity level? Those questions may sound operational, but they are strategic. A weak operating model wastes executive attention, technical capacity, business trust, and AI budget. It lets weak projects stay alive too long and makes strong projects wait behind congestion. A strong operating model does the opposite. It discovers broadly, scores honestly, validators cheaply, stops weak work early, advances strong work faster, hands off cleanly, measures the system, improves over time. This is where enterprises need to be blunt. If no one knows how many prototypes are too many, there is no capacity model. If MVP has no time box, it may become hidden production development. If rankings are not refreshed after evidence changes, the portfolio is stale. If handoff has no owner, the project is not really advancing. The practical path is straightforward. Assess the current operating model. Blueprint the target model. Run the AI Innovation Team workshop. Pilot the model on a real portfolio. Establish dashboards and governance rhythms. Then improve maturity quarter by quarter. The final rule is simple. Managed AI portfolios are built through operating discipline, not wishful thinking. Enterprise AI becomes manageable when organizations control cadence, capacity, metrics, maturity, and handoff, not just ideas and prototypes. The teams that manage AI as a real portfolio will make better decisions, stop weak work earlier, and move stronger initiatives toward production with more confidence. You can explore more practical enterprise AI resources at ain.net.com. Thanks for watching.